is up? Welcome back to the third episode of the Esk8 Exchange podcast, the show where we talk about electric skateboards, MBoards, Esk8 events, stuff like that. Today I am joined with Jacob. He is the co-owner of Board Bumpers.
What's up,
and
guys?
Ali, he is our media guy here at MBoards. He handles pretty much all of our social media and content creation, stuff like that. So we kind of switched seats today. We're trying to figure out, for the podcast, what works, what doesn't, what we like. I felt like my shot was very boring last time. It was just a white wall. So I wanted to give myself a little bit of a nicer background. So hopefully it looks better. So yeah, we're kind of just messing around, trying to figure out what works and not. So, bear with us while we try to figure it out. Our first couple episodes of the podcast might be a little different here and there, but
let us know which one you guys like so far.
Yeah. Viewer feedback would be very, very, very appreciated right now, especially at the early stages. So, okay. So to kick things off for the podcast, I have like I said last week, I'm going to try to update you guys about the convention every week as long as there are updates. So a quick little mini update. We're doing as you guys know, we're doing our trade show on Saturday and we're doing our race day on Sunday. So we're trying to, right now, I'm in talks with someone who will potentially be planning our race for us. Instead of me doing it, we'll have someone who's actually had race experience do it. So that way it's a much better event overall. Wow. I think that was a better move because I can admit I've never done a race before. I feel like maybe this isn't the job for me. So I'm going to kind of give it to somebody else. I have a phone call, I think, tomorrow. I'm not going to name names or anything yet because I don't know if it's going to be confirmed yet. But we are going to give it to somebody, partner with someone who knows how to do races and make sure the race is a better event than I could plan myself.
Yeah, it did appear that the race was a lot to go into.
That's a lot of organizing.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I figured that. I figured it was going to be a big task to do. So I want to make sure I can really focus on like the trade show aspect of it, the overall general picture of everything, and then try to delegate these important tasks to different people.
I'm excited. I definitely want to partake in the race as well.
Yeah, it sounds like we get to now. Now we have time.
Right. Yeah, now.
I like it.
Right.
So that was our mini update. I don't want to go too much into it because there's not a ton to report, but that is our intentions with the convention moving forward.
Cool.
And then I do want to talk about, I actually want to revisit our first episode for really quick. If you guys haven't watched the first episode, it's pretty much MBoards' entire story, our journey through getting the company off the ground, the struggles we've had, the stuff people say about us online, stuff like that. We had a viewer watch our entire podcast and then actually email us like a 2-page report or paper about all the feedback she had for us. So her name is Quinn. She lives in Texas, I believe.
Hey, Quinn.
Hey. So she sent us back. So she's a customer of ours. She's purchased with us before. And so her overall thoughts were her order came quickly. She actually had a problem with her order. Not a problem with us, but she accidentally ordered something that she didn't mean to. She needed to make some corrections before it went out. Our customer service was able to do that for her. And then we shipped it all to her, no problem. But she did have a few things that she wanted to say. Some of our descriptions were lacking a few different pieces of information. So she emailed me a whole list of things that of pieces of information she wishes that were on our product. So we've now updated a bunch of different things about that.
Like some constructive feedback?
Yeah, so definitely constructive feedback. This is the feedback that we're actually looking for. Like talking shit online doesn't help anybody, but this email was very, very well written. And she took the time. No one asked her to do this. She just felt the need that she wanted to help, and she definitely helped. So there were a bunch of different things, a couple of different pieces of information or descriptions that weren't quite updated or weren't quite there. Like, for example, she was trying to set up like a VX2 Pro remote with our motors, but in our descriptions, for whatever reason, we never had the pole pairs listed. So she needed to know how many pole pairs were in the motor to actually get the correct data off of the remote. Yep. So something I just know that 7, but 7 pole pairs, 14 poles. Right. People don't know that. They don't know that necessarily right away. So that's something we were missing.
Yeah, that is definitely helpful and important.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to bring that up, say thank you guys. And actually at this point, I wanted to, I think it was a good idea. I kind of gave you an idea to actually add a feedback page to our website. So anybody who shops with us or is on our website can actually have a dedicated place to submit like screenshots, or they can just type out, any concerns they have or anything like that. They can, if they have any complaints about particular products or anything like that, they can actually submit it to our website and we can actually read it and try to make those adjustments. So I know that we're probably inviting some like trolls to like fill out our form online, and hey, we know whatever is what it is. But I just wanted to kind of give Quinn a shout out and thank her for her amazing email, and then try to keep us on track and getting our website to be in a better spot. So,
super cool.
anyways,
It's definitely great when people take the time to do that. You know, we can't grow unless we get some type of feedback, right?
Right, exactly. That's kind of our thoughts. So anyways, so I wanted to bring that up. I wanted to give her a shout out because it's been super helpful. And anyone else who maybe has feedback for us, we welcome it. Constructive criticism is always helpful.
Always welcome.
Constructive, keyword constructive.
Keyword, yes, in caps.
So anyways, I think that's all I wanted to say for that one. But anyway, just wanted to say thank you to her. And our first like official topic of the day, I did want to talk about COVID because, you know, we haven't talked about that enough for the last 2 years. But I wanted to talk about it because it's been affecting obviously all industries, but I wanted to kind of shed some light on how it's been affecting the Esk8 community, how it's affected MBoards, because you two probably been experiencing it. Issues in the Esk8 community just because of COVID directly.
Yeah, that's actually how I even got into Esk8 was not from COVID, but due to the whole pandemic. You know, during lockdown, I'm an avid snowboarder, and of course during the summer season, I usually fly and chase the snow. But with the whole pandemic and being locked down, I was actually unable to even chase the snow or even travel anywhere. So because of the whole pandemic, that's how I even got into Esk8. I was looking for something to kind of just do, also ride and kind of shred the imaginary gnar. And Esk8 came up, or actually it was just longboarding that really came up. And then I think I just kept browsing deeper and deeper into the internet. And then something came up about electric skateboards, and then, the rest was history.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so absolutely. So if you can't snowboard, electric skateboard for right now.
Yeah.
For now.
Exactly.
I know you're still counting down the days to snowfall, though.
1 month and 13 days.
There we go. Yeah, who's counting? Exactly.
Right.
So anyway, so COVID did something, I guess, good for you, I guess, a little bit, because it brought you to a whole new sport that you never maybe would have tried otherwise.
I don't think we would have met.
Honestly, we probably wouldn't have met, and you probably wouldn't be working here had there not been COVID. So, I mean, there's always...
First ride, too, was that night.
That first ride, you took me on my very first ride. I came back straight from a flight. Right off the flight, came straight to the park that we were meeting up. And
with the summer board guys.
Yeah, it was a group ride. Very first time even being on an electric skateboard, and it was a group ride. Luckily, I was able to hang on and keep up.
You didn't even tell me either. He played it off like he had done this. No big deal. Yeah, he had a board at home. No big deal. But didn't tell me he was building it. It was in a million pieces.
Right.
So I'm like, here you go. Here's a $2,000 board. Just hop on. Let's go have fun. And we bombed down this hill. It's at the top of like Summerlin in Vegas. Bombed down it with the summer board guys. And we get down to the bottom. He's like, wow, that was the coolest thing ever. I've never done that. It's kind of like, oh, man. But
what?
Yeah, it was good.
Luckily, I didn't fall.
Yeah,
and it was a great time.
All right. Well, So cool. COVID has definitely brought you to a new sport. Have you experienced anything maybe negative with COVID in the Esk8 community?
Yeah. So
firsthand?
I think, me personally or just overall?
So were you into Esk8 before the pandemic?
A little bit, not so much, as my timing was spread out a little more. So I was traveling a lot for work. Whenever I was gone, I wanted to be riding. Whenever I was home, I was busy. So it was kind of tough. When, unfortunately, I lost my job, I started riding every day. Every day, I sold my car. I bought an extra board and decided that everywhere I was going to go was going to be on an electric skateboard. So that doesn't always pan out. There's certain places you just can't get to in a town as big as Vegas. But I definitely ride it every day, anytime I can.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so overall, I feel like there's always a silver lining in everything. I don't want to say that there's so much positive that came out of COVID, because there's really not a ton, mostly bad. But I think COVID has brought this sport to a lot of new people who otherwise potentially would never have done anything about it. So, but anyway, I do want to talk about like how it's negatively impacted the industry, because I think that's obviously it's more juicy of content here, because people like to talk about negative things, I guess. But
the drama,
yes, of course, the tea and all that. So, so I firsthand as a shop owner, I can tell you that we started experiencing problems as early as like the end of 2019. So like everyone always says 2020 was like a bad year, but that's because when COVID really started hitting America. But COVID started hitting obviously China before us, so they started dealing with it like November of 2019. And so I remember like Black Friday, we had just blown out so much of our stuff. Like Black Friday is like pretty much the only sale we do all year long. So we had just pretty much sold off like so much of our inventory, and then we're trying to get more, obviously, and they're all shut down. They're all at home. They're chilling, and they're trying to deal with it the way they dealt with it, and they're all at home, and I'm just like, well, great. Like there's
So much for that.
yeah, so like there's just no way of getting inventory. So like, and before COVID was here, I feel like our customers didn't really understand or respect the idea that COVID existed yet, because we didn't deal with it. It wasn't a problem yet. In the general sense, it was a problem, just not for us yet, kind of deal. So like when we couldn't get in inventory, people were giving us a hard time because they didn't understand it. But now, obviously, everybody gets it now.
So
but
Mike started it all. That's
Yeah.
He started all.
yeah,
of it.
you can blame me.
Yeah.
Right.
There'll be a new Reddit page about Mike starting COVID or something.
Great.
No,
do.
no, but it was interesting though, because we were dealing with it. Like, I mean, me and I'm sure a lot of other industries, but still, I know firsthand that like we were dealing with it in 2019. So that was interesting. And then when it started unfolding here in 2020, well, actually, China got back to working pretty quick. So like we only had to deal with like a month or two, maybe 3 months of like, lack of communication and lack of like being able to get inventory. But once we started getting inventory in again, 2020 actually shaped out to be a really good year for electric skateboard companies in general. Like 2020 for us was a very, very good year, mostly because everybody wanted to go outside. So that was awesome. Like I was super stoked to see that people wanted to do something with their time off with, there's no school or anything. So many new kids got into electric skateboards. I mean, obviously the vast majority of the e-skate community seems to be adults at this point.
Yeah.
So like a lot of guys are out of work. So they were all out skating. Like you said, you were out skating. So like, and then also the stimulus checks all rolled around.
Oh, the stimmies.
Stimulus checks.
The
So like,
stimmies.
I'm curious to see if you purchase anything did you guys buy anything electric skateboard related with your stimulus checks?
Guilty.
Yeah, you did?
Oh man. We received 2 stimulus checks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Depends. It depends who you are, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So luckily my family were able to receive 2. Guilty. Yes, I spent at least 50% of my first one on e-skate parts, and my wife practically killed me.
That's great.
I mean, I put my second $600 check into Doge at like the absolute high.
How's that work out for you?
How's that working?
Yeah,
out for
so
you?
I put $600 into Doge, and I have like
At the
$300
high.
in right now at the high. So I've like lost half of that already. I'm like, whatever, it doesn't really matter. It was like extra money that
It was fun.
It was extra money that I wasn't gonna have. Like I was never planning on getting. So I was like, well, let's
Yeah.
do something like
Risky.
funny with it, risky with it, like whatever. But anyways,
Yeah, Jacob, what about you?
I don't even remember, honestly. I don't know what we did with it. That probably means my wife got 4 checks and I got none.
0.
No,
Yeah.
that's how you know he
don't-
spends all of it. It's just out of sight, out of mind now.
Yeah, maybe it was that other account or something.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, so I feel like every electric skateboard company has done really well for themselves in 2020, just because everybody wanted to go outside. Now in 2021, I think we're finally feeling that fallout of the COVID related problems. So like originally right in the beginning, we all had problems because our regular suppliers weren't supplying anymore. Now we're back to regular supply being no problems. Also mixed in there, when everybody did come back to work, there were some major like delays with the shipping, because all this product was all finally getting released again all at one time, and there were not enough planes and boats to go around. So there was massive delays there. Product was done, ready to go, but there was no one there to take it to us or anything. So there was
Led to what? Price hikes, probably.
yeah, price hikes were insane. Like for shipping costs were absolutely insane because the demand was super high because no one had shipped anything for months.
Yeah.
So now we're back on track. So now we're through 2020. We're back on track. Everyone's back to work. Shipping rates are now reasonable again. And now we're finally feeling the fallout of part shortages because, the world had these massive stockpiles of chips and battery cells and just chilling. So then when production slowed down in China or wherever, it wasn't that big of a deal yet because they still had these big stockpiles. They were continuing to ship the stock that they had, but now we've actually run through all of that now.
Oh, that backstock.
Which is why now production can't keep up. Production's open again and it's running again, but like nobody can keep up with the demand that all these, EV, like not just electric skateboards. I'm talking like electric vehicles, like cars, which use
Bikes.
many more cells than electric skateboard does. But like still, The cells are very, very hard to get right now. Like Samsung 30Q cell is pretty much impossible to get, which has actually forced our hand to upgrade to 40T cells. One, because we can use less cells per pack and get an equivalent pack than we were before with 30Q cells. Also, 21700 cells are like the new standard for electric skateboards, so that was going to be an inevitable move anyways, but still, there's still guys who still want the 30Qs or whatever reason.
Why?
Well, it used to be cheaper.
Why do they want them? I don't know.
They used to be cheaper. They're inferior cells all the way around. The 18650 30Qs are not great cells compared to the 21700 cells now, but they used to be really cheap, so you could get like cells really cheap and get a pack really cheap that did a pretty good job. But now they're more expensive than the 40T, so it doesn't make any sense to get them. It makes no sense to use them anymore at all. So those, we might just see them totally phased out. I don't really see a use case why you would specifically go for a 30Q instead of a 40T. I'm not sure why you would do that. I can't think of one. Like, I don't see why.
I mean, unless you're modifying with an older, motor controller or something.
Sure.
If you have an older Evolve or something with
an
original.
If you're building like a replacement battery for something that used to use them, maybe, but still, you could usually just switch out your cells to something different. But anyways, so cells are insane. You can't get those right now. And the other thing, we're able to get 40Ts. For whatever reason, I don't know why 40T cells, P42As, those you can get right now. They're expensive, but you can get them.
It's probably because they know, like, the 40Ts are better.
Yeah.
You have to think they're a little ahead of us sometimes.
Right.
Thinking about it, at least.
Right. Yeah, and maybe the battery manufacturers realized, hey, these are the newer cells. These are, like, the top of the line. Let's focus on our big money here. Let's make the better cells. And now that you can get them. They're still more expensive than they used to be, but again, there was a few months where I'd go to my battery manufacturer and go, hey, I need to order some batteries. And they were like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, no, there are no cells for you. I'm like, what do you mean there's no cells? They're like,
what do you mean?
We literally cannot find cells anywhere.
Wow.
I'm like,
okay.
Oh, well, how long is that going to last? They're like, probably to the end of 2022. I'm like, so I'm like,
year.
I'm like, well, am I going to see like half my business fall off like now? Because I'm like, man, we sell a lot of batteries. Like that's a big chunk of our business. Thankfully, we made some shifts. We skipped the 30Qs. We went over to the 21700s, and like we were able to find cells pretty quickly. Like there was still a month or two, like we just couldn't get them, but we're back on track now. Thankfully, still more expensive than I hope to be. I know our next batch of batteries that are coming in, our prices on our website will decrease. We're gonna lower the price of our batteries very soon because prices of cells have gone down a little bit. So I want to pass that on to our customers because the price of our batteries are a little bit high right now for sure. But anyways, so cells are crazy, but those are kind of under control. I think they're trending back down to where they need to be. But ESCs and chips right now I think are only going to get worse because like, first of all, everybody needs these chips. It's not, there's Intel. Nothing. There's just all these chips that are needed for electric car manufacturing, like anything, like literally anything. You're using all the same stuff. So right now our problem is ESCs are just at astronomically high prices. Like for an example, we were selling, like we have our version 4 Vesks. It's just a single motor Vesk, and we were selling them for like $99 originally. Now we're selling them at like I think 109 for a way smaller margin than they were before. So like stuff's like doubling in price. Like our original, like some of these ESCs that we were buying, we're paying now twice as much for them as we used to be. And it's crazy. And then we haven't really changed the prices that much because it's like, it's not really fair for, like, everyone doesn't, like, I don't really want to do that. Like, I can't justify selling some of the stuff any more than we are now.
Right.
So it's just like, so our margins have gotten really squeezed on ESCs. Definitely. Again, not a problem. It is what it is. Like, it'll pass. I'm not really worried about it. But it's definitely very, like, sometimes there was a certain point where we couldn't get ESCs made either. There were, like, no chips to get ESCs.
Yeah, the whole PCB shortage, even, like, obviously Intel, big company, they're experiencing it. I read a news report that they released, and they're trying to order so many of them. They're such a big company. Like, even just that one company, Intel, trying to order so many is going to put us so far back behind too. And with already the shortage that there is, it's going to be
and one other problem too is that, like, a PCB board or an ESC's got 100 different small components on it. If
Double
you're,
stack,
if
triple
you're,
stack.
Yeah, if you're missing just one of those
One
components,
piece.
you can't complete the project. So like there's parking lots full of vehicles right now, full of cars that can't be sold because their infotainment center is not done because they're missing like a chip on all those motherboards. So they just can't sell them. And so it's like, it's crazy. So it's like, the problem is we're fighting, like us as a small company and the electric skateboard community as a small industry, considering the rest of the world, we're all fighting against like these massive manufacturers who are scooping these chips up at record rates.
A lot of things always are happening behind the scenes with every company. So you do wonder what some of these bigger companies have gone through, you know, with these last 2 years. You've seen delayed releases of boards.
Yeah.
You've heard about some very odd battery situations with some companies, and so you kind of wonder like what did they actually have to deal with, and what are they actually going through, or you know, did they have their own stockpiles and you know from 2 years ago, and that's just how far ahead they were.
Right.
Right.
I doubt it. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
And now it's like, at what point do they want to just bring prices down? Because right now they know we'll all pay it. So it's like, when do those prices come down? Like like the lumber shortage, I believe, was like a completely manufactured shortage. Like they just decided. I don't know for sure, but I've read a couple of articles that like they were just slowly like letting the lumber out so that they could increase prices of lumber like artificially, at least here in America, because there's not that many distributors here or whatever. Now I don't have a source for that, so I don't know for sure. But anyways, I just read that. And I would believe that though, like take advantage of a bad situation type deal. But anyway, so COVID's been kind of crazy. That's kind of how it's affected us, really mainly just batteries and ESCs. Nothing crazy. I mean, some shipping delays. But again, everyone's dealt with it. I'm not trying to sit here and like cry the blues over it because, you know, we're stronger because of it. We figured out how to deal with it. I imagine ESCs are going to get a little trickier coming up here real soon.
Probably.
But we'll figure it out. We'll get there. Anyways, so yeah. You guys have any input as far as COVID goes and anything you guys maybe have learned through the process? Or maybe appreciate now that
you know,
we've been dealing with it?
Despite how, you know, it's a very serious situation, definitely. But I always try to look at the bright side. You know,
of course.
Unfortunately, I've lost family members to COVID. Rest in peace. But again, try to stay positive. I would have never met you guys. I would have never even been in the whole Esk8 community without the whole pandemic. So, you know, there's something to kind of shine a bright light on.
I always say there's always a silver lining in every situation. Yeah. And you just have to find it. You have to stay positive and find it. So there's silver linings as much as there's always, I don't know what the opposite of silver lining is, but there's always a, you know, a black cloud somewhere. But if you can find that silver lining, it'll all work out. So
I think social media is taking a big step with,
for sure.
Yeah, with everything that's going on in Esk8, because that's really a news source anymore to find out what these companies are doing, you know, what your favorite riders or what new parts are coming out, because you know you can't just go into a store and see it. That's you know, the world of Esk8 and retail, even one wheel and retail, it's still very small. It's very small.
Right.
And you know, it's tough to get inventory. I dealt with that, you know, trying to open my own shop. It was very rough to get companies to commit, you know, to small people like me. It was gonna be me and you know, running a business, me and Ali, and it was, you know, that was hard for us. So
yeah, I mean, thankfully, like online businesses did really I'm not gonna say unaffected, but did much better than retail, obviously, over the last little while, just because everyone was just shopping online on purpose. So thankfully, electric skateboard companies are almost exclusively online. Now, there's some exceptions there, but like a lot of, especially the small businesses, were all online. No one has shops really. Like there's obviously the bigger guys, they have their boards in shops and stuff like that, but mostly all of our sales are online. So thankfully that we had that going for us. But anyways, so I guess we will move on to, we have a couple viewer submitted questions. I don't really want to talk about COVID anymore.
Yeah. Please, enough.
Unless the answer to the question is, well, we haven't done this because of that, then maybe we'll talk, it might come up again, but I'd really rather not talk about it anymore. I've been talking about it for 2 years and I'd like to not talk about it anymore. So it's positivity here on out.
Stop already.
I don't think anyone's listening to this podcast so we can talk about the same drawn out news over and over again. So back to a real Esk8 conversation. So I put a poll on Instagram. If you don't follow MBoards or Esk8 Exchange on Instagram, you absolutely should. That way you can kind of contribute to the weekly podcast. We'll pretty much be asking your guys' opinion pretty much every week. So if you follow us there, I'll put a link in the description. maybe it'll be here on the screen or something.
Right here.
Right there. There you go. Perfect. So anyways, I put a poll out on Instagram. I asked a few people's questions, and I got some responses. So I'm going to ask a couple questions and get your guys' opinion.
Ooh, let's have it.
So
ask away.
I got 3 questions here. The first one is from Matt, and he asks, which do you prefer, belt, hub, or direct drives? And what are your favorite wheels? So let's go to the first question first, the first part. Do you prefer belt, hub, or direct drives first? Ali, what's your take on that?
Well, I have ridden all 3. I do have a board for all 3. Definitely direct gears for sure.
Oh, you're going direct gear, like gear drives or direct
Skipping all
drives?
3.
Direct drives.
Oh, direct drives.
Direct drives. I'm sorry. I might be a little bit confused on the terminology.
Okay, so here, for anyone who actually, great. This is a good point where if someone is lost here or doesn't know what we're talking about here, I will explain really quick. So belt drives are obviously, you got your motor mounted to your board, and it runs your wheels with a series of pulleys and belts. Then we have hub motors, which hub motors are the motors that are like
inside the wheel,
built
right?
inside the wheels.
Right, okay.
Then you got direct drives where the motor it's like hub motors, but the motor is shifted down the hanger a little bit, and then you put your own wheel on it. And then there's gear drives, which are relatively new-ish. They're not widely spread yet, where you actually have 2 gears that are physically touching each other inside a gearbox.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I definitely got the terminology a little bit mixed up. So
You're all good.
The direct gear or
Gear drives.
the gear drive. Excuse me.
You're all good.
All right. I'm trying to keep up here. The gear drives. So I know I've ridden one of those, and I'm in the process of building one of those, and it was very quiet for what it sounded like when I was riding it, and it appears to be less maintenance. You know, you don't have a belt that has to be replaced or sized properly and whatnot. Me personally, I do prefer the gear drives.
Gear drives. All right. And then Jacob, do you have a?
Yeah, I mean, so I've predominantly ridden on belt drives.
Okay.
I've tried hubs. I think once I hated it.
Yeah.
Didn't like it at all. Maybe rode 100 feet and kind of jumped off and said, "Get me out of here."
Well,
but,
quick question:
so,
what didn't you like about the hubs? I'm kind of curious. I have a board with hubs, but I rarely ride it.
I think it was early on in my riding days and riding downtown on the strip on some gnarly roads. I just wasn't into it at the time. I was still fairly new to it, so to just jump on something different with basically felt like a wooden cutting board on some roller skate wheels. I wasn't into it at the time.
So you're saying that the actual comfort level of a hub motor was just not to your liking?
At the time, yeah.
Okay.
How was the power
I
and
have
torque?
not been on one. I couldn't even tell you. Don't even remember. I think I flushed that from my memory so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
So you're all right about that. The hub motors,
I would ask you guys, tell me which ones I should ride.
Yeah, so hub motors are the least comfortable option of all of the ones we're talking about right now. So like hub motors, you feel a lot more of those vibrations. The torque is not, and acceleration is not as good as pretty much all the other options. So my opinion, here's my opinion.
Stay
if
away.
you actually, so okay, no. Here's what I'll say though. They are the cheapest option though.
Okay, so if we're trying to get like a better build,
yeah. So here's my opinion on which one I prefer. I prefer the ability to isolate as many components as I can in case I need to either want to upgrade them or change them, or maybe something breaks and I need to replace it.
Right.
With the gear drives, they're very nice, but they all have, I'm going to call them proprietary parts based on your manufacturer.
That is true.
You have to get the right motor, the correct seals. All the different bearings are pressed in these custom. Everything's custom about it. So if anything breaks, now they're very durable, but if anything does break, you do have to go to that manufacturer to get another one.
Yes, there isn't really much. I don't think I've seen any type of universal gear drive out there. I think it is all proprietary.
And gear drives, again, very nice, but they're all made by pretty much small businesses. There's nobody real. I mean, there's a few, like I think LaCroix makes some, but they're very, very, and then here's another thing. They're very, very expensive. They're the most expensive gear drives. They're very, very expensive right now. Now, they will like always, they will all come down. Direct drives, when they first came out, very expensive. And now they're pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
So anyways, so I prefer belt drives because I like to be able to get to every single component that I can, swap it out, upgrade it, and that way, no matter what, I know some company out there is going to have a part I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It might take a little bit of digging to find like the exact gearing I want or whatever, but I know I can find 2 pulleys, a belt, and a motor mount that will work for me.
It's
for
that
sure.
DIY blood you
That's
got.
That's the DIY part of me. That's the that's the me fielding 1,000 emails a year of people who have broken stuff that the company doesn't exist anymore, and I have to tell them like sucks. Like, so there's nothing that they can do. So my opinion would be belt drives, just because I don't mind the belts. I think I snap a belt once a year.
Yeah.
I don't really care that much. They're cheap enough where is what it is. I actually haven't snapped I haven't ridden as much as I would like to, so I actually haven't snapped a belt in a while. But
Have you snapped a belt, Jacob?
I haven't snapped.
I've
You never snapped a belt?
I change my stuff up all the
A lot.
time.
Okay,
I'm
so you're
constantly
so you're
putting
very
something
good
new.
about.
I have a drawers and drawers of belts and
Okay.
gears
Oh,
and
man.
wheels.
I beat and abuse all my things. My board,
Yeah.
you probably don't want to look at it right now. But luckily, it hasn't snapped.
Okay.
But I am
So-
a pretty light dude, though. I don't weigh too much. So
You take
Plus,
really,
I've been doing all the maintenance on it.
yeah. So you are you're really into maintenance. You keep track, like you keep your boards in good
I enjoy
condition.
it. Probably every 3 rides, I completely take it apart, drink a few beers, hang out on a
It's
Sunday
just a
night
fun
or
thing.
something. Yeah, and just kind of chill out for a little bit, and listen to some tunes.
yeah.
Next thing I know, come Monday morning, I got a fresh, squeaky clean board.
Oh yeah, Jacob
Nice.
likes to tune my board when I'm not looking.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm very spoiled. I obviously have a warehouse full of parts at my disposal, so I don't take care of my stuff
Must be
at
nice.
all.
But a new
It
one.
must,
Be
It
nice.
is nice. I can tell you. That's one of the perks of the job. So
New bearings every ride.
we actually made a video about how to like clean your bearings out,
Oh, yeah.
and like I made this comment to Ali while we were riding, and I was like, you know what? I've never cleaned my
even done
bearings
this.
because I'm like, I just go to the back and grab a new set and throw them away.
You know how much time I spend cleaning my bearings,
Yeah.
dude? Like,
I don't even like because it doesn't even matter to me because it's like,
it's so satisfying.
oh no,
it's
absolutely.
peaceful. It's
satisfying.
We were cleaning the
it's
bearings for that video.
therapeutic.
Yeah, we spent the whole day, not the whole day, a few hours like taking them apart, cleaning them all out for the video, and it was a good time. I have to say, like cleaning stuff is pretty good. Okay, so now we do have to talk about. So you're saying gear drives.
Gear
you're
drives.
saying you've always ridden belts, so you're gonna go belts. I
I'm
guess.
sticking with belts.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with belts.
I'm gonna go with belts as well. But if I had to pick a close second, I'd be picking direct drives just because they're like there's super quiet. There's literally zero maintenance, and I just like how low profile they are. So that's my second choice. But now we have to talk about wheels.
Wheels.
So
ooh.
so let's go with like street wheels first. What do you
Street wheels
guys like to ride?
Okay, so for street wheels, which is, to be honest, is my preference, are just street wheel, or excuse me, not street wheels. I don't have a preference for street wheels. I don't usually ride street wheels. I was thinking about all terrain.
Okay, go for it. That's fine.
So
go for all terrain.
no experience on street wheels. I don't really mess with those too much. It doesn't dampen the vibrations enough for me.
Okay.
That's why I choose all terrain. And now when it comes to all terrain, I just stick to like 6 inches or 6.5 inches. I don't usually go anything higher. Right now I am rocking 7 inches, but we are doing some revisions to my board.
Cool. And then Jacob, what do you ride?
My daily is usually the 6.5 Trampa Urban
Nice.
Treads. Those things, yeah, those are rad.
That's cool.
I jack
Yeah.
up the PSI to like 75 and absolutely rip on those.
Pass
Those are my
recommended.
favorite. Yeah.
Past recommended PSI.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean,
bold.
big guy like me, they can handle it. Yeah.
It's all good.
They're
Yeah. So I like street wheels actually a lot. I don't know. There's like something about
Why?
being lower to the ground.
Okay.
I feel like I have, now it's probably not even true, but I feel like I have more grip on the road, which doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. I just think because I'm lower, I feel like that. Like it's like literally an inch lower. It's like not that much lower, but I just feel like I'm just a little bit lower and I have a little bit more. I don't know why I feel like that way. It's
So
probably
then what
not even
size,
true.
though?
So I usually reach for the 85 millimeter blue Kagwama wheels from Orangutan.
Okay. Yeah.
I love those things. I don't know what it is about them. I just like them. First of all, they're the prettiest wheels I've ever seen.
For about one ride.
Well,
I agree,
That's
Jacob. I
true.
agree
Well,
for real.
In Vegas. In
that's
Vegas.
you're right about that. You're right
Terrible
about
roads right now.
that.
They're
Yes.
so dirty.
So that is true. They don't stay pretty forever, but like
You got
I
a
get
whole
to-
stack of them. I just throw a new one on.
No. I don't do that. I don't do that with my wheels. That's excessive. But no, that's what I really like. And then for all terrains, I go with like the smallest all terrains as I can, which is like 6 inches.
For me, because I like to change it up so much, I've got a stash of everything. So it really depends on
Literally.
what the ride is. So
Right.
The hardest decision for me is, crap, what wheels am I going to ride today?
Right.
How far do I
Yeah.
have to go? What's the terrain like? Is it a group ride? Is it downtown? Blah, blah, blah. Where are we going to be? So you either, everybody kind of has their daily, but I don't know that I really have a daily. Maybe I might last 2 weeks before I change the wheels.
Yeah. I've definitely seen you go through wheels quite a bit.
Yeah. Rubber doesn't last long.
All right. So
Quick question though.
Yeah.
For street wheels.
Yep.
It does increase your top speed though, right?
it
It can.
So
It just depends.
in theory that this is always on paper. The larger your diameter, the faster you go. Now that's on paper. In practice, though, your gearing ratio can mess with that. Your ESC's abilities to actually push enough amperage through your motors to actually create that top speed. That's where you're starting to get bottlenecks. So in theory, like 80 millimeter wheels will be slightly slower than 85 millimeter wheels. But when you go all the way up to like 7 inches, now like you're not going to get that full, like you're not going to realize that full potential of your wheels because your electronics won't keep up. Right. So that's in theory. Gotcha. But the ranges though are affected right out of the box. So like street wheels, you'll have a longer range than all-terrain. That's just
gotcha.
Like if pretty much all the different board companies, they'll show you 2 range ratings, one with street wheels, one with all-terrain. And that's just how it goes. And that's pretty fair. Like that's how it is. So top speed though, it just depends on your gearing ratio, depends on your electronics, but like usually, it's just also different.
It varies so much.
It varies so much. I can't even give you a rule of thumb. Actually, I don't feel comfortable giving you a rule of thumb because it just varies so much. It really depends on your electronics, your exact board, and your gearing ratio. So those are all the wheel choices. So if you guys have any, leave a comment down below what you like to ride, and maybe we'll pin it or something, pin the comment or something. So we do have a couple more questions we got to get to. We have 2 more. Carlo asks, will you ever get something for a $300 to $350 range? So like I guess a kit or a board.
A complete.
The short answer, no. We will not even attempt to put out a kit for $350. Can it be done? Sure. Is a kit worth buying? Probably not. Because the actual components we would need to like put in this kit would be very bad. Yeah. It would just be
not worth it at all.
To me, it's not worth $350 because what you could get for like $500, $150 more, it would be so much better than what you buy at $350. It's not even. It's crazy.
How much could you put together for $350? So if somebody came to you with a deck and they said, "I got a deck."
If they have their own deck, you're doing okay. But like, you'd be rocking like a 6S battery. I don't know. Like seriously, I don't know.
Even, it's
so
too tough.
like
it's
hub not worth it. It's just not worth it.
I don't think it's worth it. And he's saying $300 to $350. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah,
like
tough.
It's really tough, and I just wouldn't want to put out something of that low quality. I don't know. I think 500 is the absolute lowest that's even worth looking at.
Yeah, I just spent like $350 on a deck.
On a deck alone, right? And like
easy.
I got guys who are buying $350 batteries.
There's wheels now that are $400.
Yeah, dude. There's some rims out there that are all aluminum that are $500.
They're wild looking, but
so like to me the budget there's a lot of room. Like there's a big market for the lower budget stuff, but $350 is so low to the point where like what cells are you really getting? Like what, like how long is this thing gonna last?
Would it even be worth your
Maybe
time
it's worth it for a week, but like if the thing dies like a week in, $350 doesn't seem worth it at all. So to me it's like the value is so much better if you spend just a little bit more money. So like we won't do that. We won't do $350 builds.
Makes sense.
Makes kits. Even without a deck. Just the electronics alone. It's not
really
really
worth
get
it. Used for $350? Nothing. I mean,
you might be able to get some used stuff.
Yeah, actually, that might be a better suggestion for that person who answered the question. Yeah. Maybe they might want to look into getting a used board.
What kind of board you like.
Yep, exactly. So we have one more question, and I guess the answer to the question is no. We will not be getting a $350 kit or board. But yes, we won't be doing that just because I don't think it's going to be worth it. And then Alexander asks, when are you getting new batteries? And we kind of already talked about like the battery shortage already. So new batteries as in addition to our current lineup. I know we will be working on a 12S 4P pretty soon. I think we'll probably end up bringing in a 12S 2P. Right now we have a 12S 3P. That's our biggest battery. But I think we're going to be bringing in, we'll probably expand this lineup a little bit. But the problem is the cells, we can get them, but we can't get a ton of them. Yeah. So I buy them in batches of like 2,000 to 3,000 cells at a time, and we got to kind of allocate our cells in a smart way where they're not sitting on the shelf forever. Because then it doesn't make any sense. Like if I buy 100 12S 3Ps and 10 12S 4Ps, and I'm selling way more of one kind than the other, it doesn't make I have to make it a smart move. So We have to allocate ourselves in a smart way. So new batteries, we probably won't be adding any new batteries to our shop anytime soon. We'll probably
Not
do
like the
cell-wise
modular
or-
packs.
Oh, well, so he wasn't specific about like whether that means orientation or whether that means cells.
Okay.
Cells, though, I would love to do a whole line of P42A cells.
Yeah.
So we have a 40T option and a P42A option. Honestly, I don't know if it makes sense to carry both. I think if we were to upgrade our packs, we would just go to P42As. That seems like they give a little bit more range and they have a better output. And it seems like that's the standard right now for battery packs at the moment.
Definitely. That's what I'm leaning towards for my build right now.
Or don't get me wrong, 40Ts are very, very good. And like most people they won't care. Like it doesn't matter. Like most people won't take full advantage of a P42A or a 40T even. So it doesn't really matter. Like they're both very, very, very good cells. But but the P42As do edge out the 40Ts a little bit. So we'll probably switch to those eventually. But I don't want anyone to think that a 40T is so inferior it's not worth buying either. Because
it's still a great cell.
It's still a great cell. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of cells like that. So I think that's our last question of the day. I'm not sure actually. Maddie, how much time have we been talking for?
About 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay, so
Not
we have
bad.
one more. We have one more. I have time for like one more quick story. So so this is you're not on the schedule, so you guys aren't really expecting it. But so our podcast is called Esk8 Exchange, and I want to talk about what Esk8 Exchange used to be. It's actually one of my other failed businesses, so they don't always all hit. So Esk8 Exchange was an idea I had to kind of set up a all-in-one peer-to-peer marketplace for used parts. So like that guy who's asking about $350, I would just say, hey, go over to Esk8 Exchange, try to buy used parts there. I figured that having an actual dedicated marketplace would be better than having like eBay over here, Facebook over there, the forums over here. I felt like bringing it all under one roof would be kind of cool.
Kind of like a B&H for photography, right?
Yeah. They might do. I don't know if they're peer-to-peer.
Oh, I do know they sell used gear, but I don't think they're peer-to-peer.
Yeah, I was trying to make it like an eBay for electric skateboard stuff. Nice. So like if there was any disputes, then someone looking at each case would understand what electric skateboard stuff was, so they could actually make a decision on like cases, stuff like that. So I felt like it would be like bring it all under one place. I thought it was a really good idea.
It was a good idea. I was on.
You were on it? Yeah, I sold a bunch of stuff on it. But the problem was that it was super expensive to run the site. Like the actual software side of things costs like $200 to $300 a month to run it. And I was just like, I was just losing money I lost money on it for like 8 months. Like I ended up losing like a couple $1,000 doing it. But I was going to give it a shot. I was like, let me give it 6-7 months, maybe a little bit longer, see if I can get this thing to grow. And at the end of the day, it's just not as easy. It was just easier to post your stuff on Facebook. It's easier to post your stuff on eBay. So it just didn't pan out.
That's a bummer.
So I ended up making the decision to close it, and it's okay. Not everything works out. So but I felt like the name was just good enough. The name was perfect. The name was cool.
Yep. The logo's cool too.
The logo's cool too. And I'm just like, and I've seen a bunch of different podcasts called whatever exchange. Because they exchange ideas, exchange topics. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to recycle this. I'm like, I don't want my logos to die. I worked hard on them. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just, we'll add it to we'll use it as a podcast. Like the
phoenix that rises out of
exactly.
So this podcast literally is kind of, at least it's called this because of a failed business idea that just didn't work. I would maybe want to revisit this one day in the future if we can get the operating costs lower. Yeah. And I wasn't trying to make a ton of money on it. I was just trying to like literally break even.
There's sites that just use social media to do it. Maybe that's the direction.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do our own Facebook group or something. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll figure something out or not. Like
I do think a peer-to-peer market would be really beneficial for Esk8 just because there's so many used parts that are for sale. I know I've got a few parts that I'd ordered incorrectly that are just brand new.
Yep.
I can just get rid of real quick.
And I know like MBoards, we have racks and racks of like returns that like they're not new. We can't sell them as new. They all have like cosmetic wear, and I'd love to have like an actual outlet to sell all this stuff. So we're gonna figure something out. Right now, tentatively, we're gonna have like a garage sale in like February. And just have like list all of our like slightly used stuff online.
I'm gonna start saving. I know what parts I want to
be shopping.
Yeah, so I figure, and we'll do like I feel like that might be our only other sale other than Black Friday, but they'll all be used stuff. Like it won't be like brand new anything. But anyways,
there's that 350 again.
Yep. Yeah, 350.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh yeah, you know what? That might even be a project I'll start. Try to buy like all used parts with only 350.
Yeah. You know
Maybe we
what?
can do a video of that.
You know what I've seen? I
I
don't
like that
know.
idea.
I don't like. There's a YouTube channel called Linus Tech Tips. I don't know if you guys have
I
ever
love that
watched him.
guy.
Linus is super cool.
So great.
I honestly strive to try to get our business
Oh man,
as cool as his every
I just
day.
want to be as cool as him.
But they do a series called Scrapyard Wars, and they separate into teams, and they go and they buy all their computer components used, and then they build their boards or I guess they build their computers, and at the end they compare what they've done with the money that they were given, and then whoever has a better or faster computer just wins.
Wow.
And I thought it might be a good series idea about just doing that with electric skateboards. I don't know.
Definitely,
So-
all in caps. We should do that.
Yeah,
Challenge.
Yeah, so I would just have to find someone who knows how to build skateboards, who wants to be part of the other team. We'd have to give them some kind of an allowance. I mean, if they have to buy the parts, they have to go and get them, order them, whatever they want to do. And
Show
at
us
the end,
receipts.
Are we gonna do a time limit on that?
Yes,
You know,
there would
like-
be a time limit. There would be a time limit, and then there would be some kind of scoring rubric where top speed you get a certain amount of points, range you get a certain amount of points, and then what it looks like you get a certain amount of points. And they do the same type of thing, they'll do all their different benchmark tests for their computers, and that gets them a certain amount of points. And then it has to look nice, and then they have a judge come in and award points based on appearance. So I think it'd be kind of a fun idea for a video.
Knowing me, I don't know. Well, it's definitely gonna be a fun idea. I think I might fail though.
You'll be
I'm
trying to
very
cheat.
impatient. I'll probably spend the whole entire budget on just shipping.
Yeah. So
Expedited.
So it would definitely be an interesting idea. So I don't know. That's kind of that's what the podcast is for, just to kind of shoot some ideas around. And what do you guys think about that? But anyways, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about how Esk8 Exchange originally was a failure, and now hopefully it turns into something a little bit cooler than a website that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Although if you go to that website now, it just kind of forwards to our show information. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the third episode of Esk8 Exchange. We will see you guys again on next Friday for our fourth episode. So we will figure
Pizza
out
day.
Pizza.
possibly pizza day. Yeah, if you guys made it all the way to the end, comment pizza, because we always know, we always know you actually made it all the way to the end.
Trying to get
So Jacob, thank you for coming in on a Wednesday to come and shoot this with us really quick. Ali, thank you for being on camera, even though you don't necessarily like to be on camera. I
Yes,
appreciate you.
I'm better behind the camera.
So I appreciate you guys, and thank you guys for watching. This show obviously isn't possible or isn't worth doing without you guys watching. So have a good rest of your guys' day. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we will see you in the next one.